Imagine paying thousands of dollars for a first-class ticket, dressed in your best, ready for a once-in-a-lifetime trip, and then being humiliated in front of strangers because of the color of your skin. Now imagine, just when the person insulting you thinks they've put you in your place. The doors open and in walks the one person with the power to change everything in seconds. This isn't just another story about prejudice. It's a shocking, twist-filled, true-to-life lesson about respect, power, and karma. And before we dive in, if you believe dignity has no price tag, that no one, no matter their job, race, or background, should ever be treated like less, hit that subscribe button right now, because you're about to hear a story that'll leave you angry, cheering, and maybe even wiping a tear from your eye. It was a bright Thursday morning when Aisha Collins stepped into JFK International Airport, her long braids swaying gently behind her as she walked confidently through the bustling terminal. She wasn't just any traveler. She was an accomplished marketing executive in her own right, though most people never saw past her deep brown skin and warm smile to the degrees, awards, and business contracts she carried in her mental portfolio. Today's trip was supposed to be special, an anniversary getaway to Paris with her husband, Jordan Collins. But Jordan wasn't just her husband. He was the CEO of one of the largest aerospace tech companies in the United States, a man whose influence stretched across airlines, manufacturing, and government contracts. The plan was simple. Jordan had a board meeting in New York that morning, and they'd meet on the plane in first class before heading off together. Aisha arrived earlier than him and handed over her passport and boarding pass to the check-in staff. The attendant smiled, tagged her luggage, and handed her documents back without issue. Everything seemed fine until she stepped into the jet bridge leading to the aircraft. That's when the trouble began. Standing at the aircraft door was a tall man in his late 40s wearing crisp pilot stripes and a forced smile. Captain Richard Haynes had been flying for over 20 years, but he had a reputation, not for his flying skill, but for his temper, arrogance, and whispered comments about the kind of people he thought didn't belong in first class. Aisha walked up, greeting him politely. "Good morning." He gave her a quick up-and-down glance, his eyes lingering on her braids and simple but elegant dress. "First class?" he asked, his tone skeptical. She nodded. "Yes." He snorted softly and stepped closer. "Well, this is a first. Guess. The airline is letting anyone up front these days." Aisha's smile faltered. "Excuse me?" He leaned in, his voice low but audible to a nearby flight attendant. "Relax, sweetheart. I'm just saying, you don't exactly look like the first-class type. But hey, maybe you're just lucky. Or maybe—" his eyes narrowed cruelly. "Maybe someone needed a mascot. What do they call it? Token? Or monkey?" The word hit her like a slap. The flight attendant froze, her mouth opening slightly as if to protest, but Haynes straightened and smirked. "Welcome aboard, ma'am." Aisha's hands clenched at her sides, her heart pounding. Years of corporate composure told her not to cause a scene, but something in her chest burned hotter than her restraint. She walked to her seat without replying, though every step felt heavier. She didn't know it yet, but karma was already. Boarding the 10 minutes later, the cabin door opened again, and Jordan stepped inside. Dressed in a tailored Navy suit, with the quiet authority of someone used to making million-dollar decisions before breakfast, he scanned first class for his wife. Aisha's eyes met his, and though she smiled, he instantly read the tension in her posture. He slid into the seat beside her, leaned in, and asked softly, "What happened?" She tried to wave it off, not wanting to ruin the trip, but Jordan knew her too well. "Tell me," he pressed. And so, in a low voice, she recounted exactly what the pilot had said. Jordan's expression didn't change at first, but a cold, calculating glint appeared in his eyes. He pressed the call button for the flight attendant, who approached nervously. "Sir?" he asked her calmly. "Did you hear the captain's words to my wife?" The attendant hesitated, glancing toward the cockpit. "Yes, sir. I did." Jordan nodded once. "Good, then we won't have a he said, she said problem." What Haynes didn't realize, what would make his knees buckle in less than 5 minutes, was that Jordan's aerospace tech company wasn't just a random corporation. It was the primary contractor that supplied this airline's navigation, systems, pilot training software, and maintenance technology. And Jordan? He was in the middle of renegotiating a multi-million-dollar supply contract with their corporate board. Without raising his voice, Jordan stood and walked calmly toward the cockpit. Aisha watched as every head in first class turned toward him, curious. He knocked once on the cockpit door. Haynes opened it, clearly annoyed. "Sir, please return. To your seat. We'll be departing." Jordan cut him off with a slow, deliberate introduction. "Captain Haynes, my name is Jordan Collins. I'm the CEO of AeroCore Technologies. You may have heard of us. We've been providing your airline with guidance systems for the last 8 years. Haynes blinked, suddenly pale. Jordan's voice didn't rise, but each word hit like a hammer. "I just heard from my wife what you said to her at the boarding door. And since your airline's executive board will be reviewing my contract renewal next week, I think they'd be very interested to hear about your customer service philosophy." The color drained completely from Haynes's face. "Sir, Save it," Jordan said sharply. "You're relieved of duty for this flight. Step aside." Haynes stammered. "You can't just—" Jordan pulled out his phone and hit speed dial. The person on the other end answered in 2 rings. "Charles?" "Yes, it's Jordan. I'm on flight 442. Your captain just racially harassed my wife. Remove him from the aircraft or the deal's off. Today." He ended the call without waiting for a response. The next 5 minutes felt like slow motion. 2 ground supervisors boarded, spoke briefly with the flight attendant, and then turned to Haynes. "Captain, you're being relieved from duty. Please gather your belongings." Passengers whispered furiously, phones out, recording. Haynes sputtered something about a misunderstanding, but no one cared. As he walked down the aisle, humiliated, Jordan sat back beside Aisha and took her hand. "You okay?" She exhaled, a mix of relief and disbelief washing over her. "I am now." When the plane finally took off, with a replacement captain, Jordan leaned back and smiled faintly. "You know," he murmured, "I almost feel bad for him." Aisha raised an eyebrow. "Almost," Jordan smirked. "Almost. But maybe next time he'll think twice before opening his mouth." By the time they landed in Paris, news outlets in the U.S. had already picked up the viral videos from passengers. The headline read, "CEO fires pilot mid-flight boarding for racist comment." The airline issued a public apology, and Haynes's career quietly ended within the month. For Aisha and Jordan, it wasn't about revenge. It was about standing up in the moment and saying, "Enough.